Welcome again to your update from the City of New Hope. Time to talk with the mayor to find out what's new in the city and what you should be paying attention to. Mayor, how are you today?
Just fine, thanks. Good to be here.
Thanks for taking some time for us. We've got a lot of topics to touch on in the City of New Hope today, but let's start with water and the environment. So we have a little background information. You've done a little research for us about just the water situation in the City of New Hope and maybe some fun facts for people. Pass those along if you would.
I think these fun facts are just that, fun facts. So New Hope has two water towers. One was built in 1959, and that was on 42nd and Aquila. And at that time, they built the tower to hold 500,000 gallons, thinking, oh, this is great. However, the city grew on the south, and we found out very quickly that we needed a second water tower. So in 1969, they built that second one, and that's the one that's on right off of Medicine Lake Road in 169. And that one holds 1,500,000 gallons of water. So with those two, I think we're doing pretty good. Now, all of our water comes from Minneapolis. Crystal and New Hope both get Minneapolis water, and we have a joint water agreement with Minneapolis. So when they declare an emergency, we have to do the same thing, a water ban. And so that water ban means no watering at all between noon and 6 p.m. And outside of that time, they have an odd even water ban. So you can, if your street address is odd, you can water on the odd days, and if it's even on the even days. The only exception to that is if you have new sod or seed, we don't want that to die. So of course you can water that, but we suggest you water that by hand anyway. It just makes more sense to do that. People ask me all the time, how come my water bill's so high? Well, if you remember a few years ago, that water pipe that comes from Minneapolis through Robbinsdale for Crystal and New Hope broke. And it was a big break. And because it wasn't Robbinsdale's water main, it was ours. And so the cities of Crystal and New Hope each had to contribute $1 million to fix that pipe to get water into the city. We came very close to running out of water in the two cities. So if you wonder why it's so expensive, it's not just the water coming out of your tap. It's the water to fix the pipes and the mains and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. Everything you always wanted to know about water.
All right. Good water information there. Speaking of water, let's talk about the pool and the water there. It is finished for the season. Is that correct?
The pool shut down on the 15th of August, sad to say. And the real reason for that was the lifeguards. The lifeguards are going back to school everywhere. I talked to the Park and Rec director today, and she said all over the country, they're looking for lifeguards. They just didn't get certified this year. And the ones that did, they were really at a shortness to have them. And so those kids are all going back to school, and we can't open a pool without lifeguards. So they had to close that. But that's the bad news. The good news is, as of the 11th of August, we had 43,000 people come through that pool. Wow. So that's really, really exciting. The pool is doing a lot better than we thought. Now, the pool is closed, but you're going to see people. First of all, you're going to see water in the pool. Okay. The reason the water stays in the pool is it has to dissipate with the chemicals. And that's the way to do that. They just let it sit in the chemicals. I don't know where they go in the air, I suppose. I did ask, or I tried to find out what we're going to do with the water in the pool afterwards, but the guy who ran the pool wasn't there today. So I'm going to have to find that out, and I'll tell you next week what's going to happen to that water.
All right, there, the perfect tease for people to join us again next week. Find out about where that water goes. One other environmental note, Green Step City. Explain a little bit of what that is and how that is something New Hope is working very hard at.
A few years ago, they started this program to help cities become more green. Energy efficiency, making sure you're not wasting water, you're doing the right thing. So we're actually a step 3 in that process, and we were rated 3rd in the state for our category. So that's really pretty exciting. Most of that came from the city hall and the new pool. We were very careful. We didn't want to get LEED certified. LEED being a certification you get from the state, because it's not only is it stringent, it costs money to do that. We instead just implemented a lot of the things that would make us more green, and we knew we could do that a little cheaper and easier if we just did it ourselves.
Very good. Well, congratulations to the city for that ongoing work. Good Citizenship Award. Let's talk a little bit about what that is for the city and how residents can get involved.
Well, this has been going on for about 5 or 6 years. And at first we got quite a few people nominated for that. Now, first of all, you don't have to be a citizen to be nominated.
Okay.
There's this citizenship. We want people who are doing good things for either the city as a whole or they're helping their neighbors. And really, there's no age limit to this. So if you've got a teenager that's out there delivering groceries to your shut-in neighbor or somebody that's mowing the grass for the neighbor, anything that's a good citizenship thing, we really want to know about that. So they can go online and nominate somebody. They can nominate themselves. They can nominate their neighbor. If they can't get it online, they can always call me at home and I'll make sure they get the application to do that. But we want to just kind of revitalize that program and recognize the people that are going above and beyond in the city to be helpful.
Very good. The website, newhopemn.gov. You can find out more information about that. And as you said, Mayor, it's for people that are going to school in the city of New Hope or also that work in the city of New Hope. So if a good citizen is at a New Hope business, they can be nominated as well.
Yes, they can.
Perfect. All right. Go to the website to find out more. We've got some fun pictures to pass along. We've had a little time after Night to Unite to get all of the photos in. Give us another recap of that great night and some of the activities that went on.
Well, as you know, we didn't have National Night Out, quote, Night to Unite last year because of COVID. So this year was a little slow getting started. We ended up with 68 parties, which is really a big deal considering we didn't think we were going to have any. So I went around with my police chief and my city manager, along with a couple of the council people in separate cars, and the police were out. And everybody was just so happy to be outside and with people and just being a community like we've always been. So I really want to thank all the people that organized the parties at their house, all the people that attended, and a special thanks to Officer Callio, who this was his first year. He stepped right in and he organized the parties and made sure everybody was where they were supposed to be. So hats off to you, Officer Callio.
Yes, congratulations. A great night, and put it on your calendar, always that first Tuesday of August each year. Let's talk about businesses in the city. A lot of activity going on here. We've been giving residents updates on the Spanish Immersion School. How is that coming along?
Now, I'm going to try to say this.
All right.
Escuela Exitos. That's the
Very
new
good.
Spanish Immersion School. It's a charter school on 47th and Boone. They took over the old New Hope Church Auxiliary building, and they're hoping to open this fall with 128 students. I believe they're doing kindergarten through 8th grade, but I'm not positive of that. If you're interested in doing that, you can either go to the site on 47th and Boone, or you can look them up, or you could always contact the city and somebody will help you get in touch with that Spanish immersion. Now that's a charter school and they're not part of District 281. They're separate from 281.
Okay.
So
very good.
it's not a public school.
All right, you can find out more information. Let's talk about HyVee. They have been working hard to get more space for those that want to shop outside. How is that coming along?
Well, about a year and a half ago, they applied for a permit to build an auxiliary building to the west of the HyVee, and that was going to be for storage so that people could drive through and pick up the groceries. Right now they changed it, but before that they were driving into the overhang where you could get prescriptions, and that was getting too congested. So now they've got some cones set up and they want to make that more permanent. So all of the permits have been issued and they hope to get started again in the fall. I think what happened when they first had the idea we're going to start it, all of a sudden they got overwhelmed,
Right.
and they just couldn't handle all that. So they thought they'd just get the groceries out into the cars, and then when things settle down a little bit. So now they're settling down and they're hoping to do that. So the other thing HyVee has done, they asked for some permits to remodel the interior of the convenience store. So again, they're going to start on that this fall. They hope. So we'll see what goes on in there.
Hard to believe it. Still thinks like it's brand new to me. It seems like it was
Yeah.
just built the other day, but time passes on. Another business to mention is a longtime daycare business that's in Crystal and been run out of a home. Now they're going to have a second location. Where is that location and what's the business called?
Well, I think they've got the perfect location. It's PNC Family Daycare. So they're going to have this daycare next to the pizza parlor and the donut shop. So you drop off your kids, you go get donut and coffee, you pick up your kids, you get a pizza, you go home. I think it's a perfect solution. There'll be a playground in the back that'll be all fenced for the kids. They're hoping to open this fall yet, and they'll be taking 50 kids. There'll be students or young children like a normal daycare would be. So looking forward to seeing that happen.
All right, we'll keep you up to date as the building happens there. Hammernicks Flooring, just want to give people a reminder about that business that recently opened and had a great grand opening.
They did. Old business, new location.
Mhm.
So they've been in St. Paul for 70 years. And Hammernicks is a flooring superstore, if you will. So they have all the flooring in stock. So you just go in, pick out what you want, and you can take it with you if you've got a big enough trailer to put it in. So they're right on 169 at Science Center Drive. They've only been open about a month. So stop in and see what they have, and you'll be surprised. It's a big store.
Let's move ahead to development to talk about some of the things happening throughout the city. First, Windsor Ridge. How are we going along there? It looks like very well.
It is very well. We've talked about that for a long time. It's about on 51st in Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And it's a development that has 32 brand new owner occupied houses. These houses, 20 of them have been sold for an average price of $420,000. The other 12 are in the process of being built. If they stick with that same price point, we should be adding $13 million to our tax base just from that one development. That's pretty exciting.
That is amazing. Speaking of numbers, let's talk about scattered site. We talk about some specific properties all of the time, but how about in general? How is that program going?
So in the recent years, we've done 25 of these houses. Now, we try to look for distressed houses that really need to either have a lot of repair done to them or need to be torn down. When it's got good bones, we'll hire a contractor, we'll do the repairs inside, fluff the house up, and then we'll sell it through the city. Some of the houses really need to come down. And so in that case, we'll take the house down, clear out the land, make sure the land is nice and clean, and sell that to a developer. They'll put up a house that's in the 350 to 450 category. So with those houses, we've added 5.5 million to our tax base from that scattered house program. We don't make money on that. The return on investment isn't short. It's over a long period of time. But what it's really doing, it's revitalizing a neighborhood. It's taking an eyesore out of there and putting in a nice, pretty new home. And we think that's a benefit to the community just as much as the financial part of it.
Great program in the city. One final note about homes and neighborhoods is the property maintenance guide. Tell us about that guide. And you see the website on the bottom of the screen. People can find that online. What is that guide? How should residents use it?
Well, the old guide, you'd have to thumb through the pages. You might have one section on garage doors and then another section on the electrical part of it and another section on how it actually operated and where to get them. And so we went through that whole property maintenance guide and made it easier to use, spelling out exactly what the codes are and what's expected on those codes. And so you can go online and get that. Just look at either what you want specifically or print the whole thing out. So we're pretty impressed that we've got this property maintenance guide up to date and usable.
All right. Another reason to go online to the city's website is the In Focus photo contest. What are you encouraging residents to do now?
The good news is it's going on right now.
Yeah.
So we've restricted it to one photo per person. That way, the professional or a really good photographer doesn't flood the market, if you will.
Okay.
Taking it away from some other people. So there's 3 categories: people, nature, and landmarks within the city. The photos have to be taken within the city bounds of New Hope. The people taking the photos have to either live, work, or go to school in New Hope.
Okay.
And then one per person. There's also, and then we'll judge and we'll give awards for that. There's another category for the under 18.
Right.
So the kids can take a photo and they can submit one photo just like everybody else.
Very
You should
nice.
be able to go online like mid-October and start looking at the pictures. And I think you can vote online. We'll have more on that as time goes on. And the deadline, I believe, is the middle of October.
Excellent. Yeah. October 15th, newhopemn.gov/infocus to find out more about that contest and to get your pictures in. And publications, we want to mention this one once again, the In Motion. Again, Mayor, you're proud of this. The staff works hard. What's inside?
Everything you ever wanted to know and then some. If you
Perfect.
want to be busy every single day of the week, I think you can go to the In Motion and do that.
Right.
So we have things like archery classes and Don't It Make You Wonder, where it's an hour and a half of just a topic that, gee, I wondered about that.
Mhm.
So everything you can imagine is in there, and how to get how to sign up for them, where it is, how to get to it. We do a lot of things with Crystal that are combined. So you'll see some of the things in there are being done at the Crystal Community Center.
Mhm.
And the reason for that, they have a different kind of facility than we do. And sometimes it makes more sense to have it there.
Sure.
So we do things with them. So if you don't have one, it should have been mailed to every address, but of course, sometimes they get tossed. There's a whole stack of them at City Hall. You can go
Great.
into City Hall and pick one up. It's one of those things you need to keep all fall and winter long because the programs are going on through the winter, and you need to sign up pretty quickly for some of them because they go quickly.
You bet. And again, that's talking about activities happening a little further out. Let's take a minute here as we close to talk about some activities that are happening pretty quickly here. And the first is a movie coming up. Who's responsible for the movie and what can we go out and see?
So about a year ago, we bought a great big inflatable screen, and that's at the New Hope, not Community Center, the New Hope Entertainment Center, if you will. That beautiful space there. So you have to bring a chair or a blanket to sit on. The movie is Black Panther. It'll be on the 19th of August. It starts about dusk, about 8:30. They'll be selling popcorn there, and it's sponsored by the New Hope Lions. So we show these movies. It costs the city money to get the rights to show that movie, and we depend on sponsors to give us the money to show that. So these movies are free to the residents, and we just ask that you make sure you bring a blanket or a chair to sit on and watch a free movie outside.
You bet. What could be more fun? And thanks to the Lions for helping out. Then on Fridays, as always, time to get some food. Where and how do we do that?
Food Truck Friday. Yep, every Friday from 11 to 2 in the parking lot at New Hope City Center. You can get your food from one of these 3 trucks. It changes every week. So some weeks it's chocolate and pretzels and pizza, and some weeks it's tacos and something else. So go see what's there. If it's something you want to eat that day, there you go. You can go over to the pavilion and have your lunch.
All right. And then by Saturday, if you're inspired to cook your own food, you can go to the market earlier in the day and pick up fresh food. Where is the market? 9 to 1. It's it's on Xylon right in front of City Hall. We block off the street. There's 5 or 6 vegetable vendors. The sweet corn, by the way, is just awesome. That's in. We ask that all of the produce is locally grown. So it's not shipped in green. They actually probably picked it that morning or the night before. So that's open 9 to 1 on Saturday. Excellent. Great opportunity to get out and do some fun shopping. Final note we want to pass along, looking a little further out to August 30th, a blood drive coming up and a chance for the community to give back. Tell us the details about that event. West Metro Fire and Rescue has been doing these blood drives about every 2 to 3 months. And so you can sign up there. There'll be at all of the stations, there'll be a blood mobile there. Great. And I want to say it's like between 2 and 6 or something like that. But if you have blood you want to donate, you can go to West Metro Fire and Rescue, or you can call Joel Nelson. And I think that number is going to be at the bottom of your screen. And Joel will get you signed up. You can do your preliminary questions online the day that you're going to give blood. And it's really, really appreciated. They tell me that blood is a rare commodity at this time. People just aren't, they're just not doing it, and they need a lot of it. All right, there you see Joel's number on the bottom of the screen. Let's flood Joel's phone line and see how many people can get out. Also, the city's website, you can find out more about that event and all of the other things we talked about at newhopemn.gov. Mayor Hemken, thanks once again for your time, and we will talk to you next week as always. You will, and I'll know about the water from the pool next week. All right, we can hardly wait for the results.
Thanks,
see you then.
Dave. Bye-bye.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.